It has been a while since I've done a video. Things got really busy, school, work, blah blah blah, and also I wasn't really making any progress, like nothing was really happening with the status of my surgery. So kind of took a break from doing videos, but I'm back just to update. So I went to New York City last week, and because I'm like unfamiliar with the region, I guess I thought the doctor was in Connecticut. It turns out his office is on Park Avenue in New York City. So I got to see that for the first time, which was pretty cool. I thought I was gonna have all this time in New York to kind of like explore and then like get some of my doctor's appointments done. I'll probably just insert some footage I took. It was like, I barely got any footage because as it turns out I was in appointments pretty much the whole time I was there. I was just there for I think less than 24 hours. Yeah, actually, yeah, less than 24 hours. So kind of the way things went, I went to an MRI appointment in the morning because as part of this clinical trial I'm doing, they just double enrolled me in this clinical trial for MRIs. So I got this MRI done. It was like a fancy Tesla MRI, and it was like super loud, and so the guy had me put like earphones on and everything, but that went fine. So that was in the morning, and then I went straight from there to the doctor's office to meet with my surgeon for the first time. So we ended up doing like 2.5 hours of paperwork and kind of like going through the procedure and what it entails, and him asking me a bunch of questions to make sure that I am still a viable candidate for this clinical trial. And it was kind of funny, we were in this like really small office room, and like the office was being renovated, and so all this construction was going on, and so it was my surgeon, there was a doctor who seemed to be kind of like working as his assistant, and then there was a medical assistant. It was like this young kid who had just graduated from Harvard. He was there, and then also these two interns just happened to be there. So it was like all of us crammed into this tiny little room going over like the situation with my knee. So last I updated, I think I kind of said that I was going to go with this Hyalofast clinical trial, which is basically that procedure that I was looking into where they take your bone marrow from your hip and then centrifuge it and then kind of re-inject it into your knee. So when I talked to my surgeon and said, like, hey, I want to do this procedure, he was like, okay, there's that, but there's also this other clinical trial in case you're interested, and that was the Novacart trial. I think maybe I mentioned it. It's a German procedure, and everyone's like, ooh, German, get German. So it's a German procedure. It's very similar to MACI, which is a procedure that they do here in the States, except I guess it's, I don't know, something's kind of different, and they've done it in Germany since 2003. And it has had very successful results. So I think it's like about a 90% success rate after 10 years versus microfracture, which is, microfracture, which is considered the gold standard here in the United States, and that I guess has a 60% success rate, and can last anywhere from like 3 to 6 years. So definitely not as good as the potentially as the German procedure. So I am doing that. Here's the crazy thing. My surgery is scheduled for June 26th. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm, really excited to finally be getting this underway. But obviously I'm like not looking forward to surgery, and I'm not looking forward to being non-weight bearing for 6 weeks. So that's kind of like where my head is at. But also at this point I just have to realize and kind of like recognize and tell myself that even though it feels like taking a few steps back, like the state I'm in now is not something that I want to like just keep. I don't want to just keep being in this state. The status quo is not something that's making me happy. But anyways, more about this trial. So it's a 2-to-1 chance that I'll get the German procedure to the American procedure. And the crazy part is that on the day of surgery I'll go in, they'll put me under anesthesia, roll me into the operating room, and then open my knee, make sure I'm still a viable candidate for both procedures, because they can't know. The MRI is not perfect. They won't really know until they actually have eyes on the actual inside of my knee. Okay, she is viable for both. they make a call and then I get randomized to a group. So not only do I not know which procedure I'm getting when I go under, but the surgeon doesn't know which procedure I'm getting until we're actually in the room and they're arthroscopically in my knee. So if I get the American procedure, microfracture, they will just do the microfracture on the spot. I'll wake up and I'll be 6 weeks non-weight bearing, and you know, probably a little disappointed I didn't get the German procedure. Conversely, I have a 66% chance of being placed in the German group. So if I am in that group, what they'll do on June 26th is arthroscopically just remove like an eraser tip size piece of my own knee cartilage. They'll grow it in a lab, and then very strictly within 3 weeks I'll have to go back and they'll do another procedure, and that's where they actually do more of an invasive cut. And then it's similar, they'll have grown that cartilage on a mesh scaffold, and so at that 3 week period they'll go in and put that mesh scaffold in that pothole in my knee, and then that will commence the 6 weeks of non-weight bearing. So that's the status of my surgery. Yeah, just trying to do what I can right now to stay fit and trying to get in a good mental space for this procedure. So yeah, if people have recommendations for how to kind of like be mentally strong through this, please let me know. I'm already devising some goals I have in terms of like how many days a week I try to work out, how many days a week I swim, doing like push-up and pull-up challenges throughout that time period. And I'm apprehensive. I'm really worried that I have in my mind like 6 weeks of non-weight bearing, and that it's actually going to be a lot longer. I've heard some pretty bad stories from some other people who have had similar procedures. But it is what it is. I mean, I can't control it. So yeah, if people have advice for me, if you've gone through something similar, if you can think of some fun fitness challenges for me, definitely let me know. Leave them in the comments. And I think you know, I have a few weeks until that procedure, so I'll probably start trying to get to those 2 other videos I promised doing, the strength and the gymnastics, and then we'll have a video on my trip up to New York and the surgery. So that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in and for following my journey, and I will talk to you later.